All right. Looks like we are live. Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. I was trying to bring up the current card for this Sunday. And I was looking on the site and I couldn't find it. So we're just going to wing it. I'm pretty sure I remember anything. If I forget anything, I'm sure you guys will let me know. There were a few last minute updates as far as stuff that they added during the course of tonight's Impact Wrestling. The last Impact Wrestling on Pop TV. We got some people in the chat already. What is up? Watch out for cinder blocks. Oh no. Thank you, Blood Rain. I will be sure to watch out for those. Cheers, everyone. We're just sipping a dew right now. We'll switch over to something a little stiffer later. The original plan is I was not going to be here tonight. I had to take my stepdaughter to work earlier, so I was planning on picking her up at midnight, and I did not want to rush through this, seeing as it's already a half an hour after the show and a half an hour before. You know, I would have to, or less than an hour from when I would have to go pick her up. So the original plan is I didn't have a plan. I didn't know when I was going to do this, but I knew it was going to be late by the time I got home. But I got a text about an hour ago saying she had a ride home. I'm like, perfect. I can still do this then. So, like I said, we are live. We're doing this. We're going to talk some Impact Wrestling. And for those listening in, this will also be the debut on iTunes for Smash This Podcast on Wrestle Addict Radio. That will be added this Sunday. So if you can't stick around for all of it, this will be up later on rantwithant.com and later on Sunday on iTunes. So I'm excited about that. I've had a few requests over the years to be on iTunes or some kind of audio format because a lot of people don't like to sit and watch YouTube stuff. They listen to stuff on the go, and I totally get that. I do that every once in a while too. I'll be on the road running errands, and I'll pop in a podcast, and I'll play it on my phone as I'm buzzing around from place to place. So, we'll see how it does. I'm excited for it, though. So if you got friends who are, fans of podcasts and they listen to them on iTunes, let them know that Wrestle Addict Radio has got a lot of new stuff coming in 2019, including Smash This Podcast and a few more that have joined the family. Go to rantwithant.com and check it out. Check out all the new stuff over there. So, oh my goodness, the chat's going nuts already. Talking about Wrestle Kingdom. Oh yeah, Wrestle Kingdom is in a few hours too. I don't know if I'm going to stay up for that. But the card is spectacular. A lot of crazy stuff going on. Duke's also in the chat. Good evening. Says that ending cinematic with guys like Raven, Low-Key, AJ Styles, Shamrock, etc. was powerful. Hopefully you got to see it. Yes, I did see it. It felt like it was cut off, though. Like, I have a feeling that's going to be what's going to be the opening to Homecoming and then they wanted to give a little preview of it. IP is also in the chat. MLW is taking over. Welcome, IP. I know that's your thing. It's too funny. Oh, man. Yep. Lots of crazy stuff going on this weekend. The beginning of the year is starting out with a lot of buzz all over the place. Several different companies being talked about. A lot of free agents or not so free agents. Yeah. Crazy. Heard even more stuff tonight. We're not going to get into all the other news that's popping in. I know I probably missed half of it tonight, so that's okay. We're going to focus on Impact tonight. We'll talk about tonight's show, and then we'll get into the predictions. Heck of an episode. Heck of an episode. We got some really, really good matches. What a way to kick off 2019, hey? And if you're watching live, let me know in the chat what you think was the top match of this evening. I'd be very curious to hear your opinions. I don't know if I can pick one. They were all pretty awesome in their own way, especially that cinder block shot. Even though that was after the match, but it was still quite the moment from Killer Cross to kick off the new year. Wow. Well, let's talk about this first match. This 5-on-5 tag. We got Willie Mack, Rich Swann, and the Rascals. That right there, just wow. Shut up and take my money. Seriously, that's crazy. That team is just... that could headline anything, seriously. Versus Matt Sydal and Ethan Page and OVE. Callahan and the Christ brothers. Oh my God. Say Cross and Lee, but Lee's dead. The main event and how it ended. Trey's got a high-pitched scream. Yeah, he went through some stuff tonight. This match was absolutely insane. It was, you could call it a spot fest, but it was to get you excited for Homecoming and just to put the exclamation point on the end of a 2018 and the beginning of a 2019. And what better way to do it and just let everybody go absolutely nuts on each other? Not a horrible idea. I love this match. And it ended with an exclamation point in the form of a baseball bat to Willie Mack. Sammy attacking Willie Mack. I kind of saw this coming, especially if you heard the press pass from a couple weeks ago. Was it last week? 1 or 2 weeks ago. I forget where how long ago it was. I think it was the last one though. And the way those two were spouting off at each other, you could feel something brewing. You could really feel something brewing. And there you go, Blood Rain. Don't answer your phone on Sunday. You are going to be busy. As will I. As will I, dude. Yeah, this this is going to be one that could steal the show on Sunday. The card is just stacked and became even more stacked tonight. But I just saw Callahan versus Willie Mack. And if you have not seen those two against each other before, all I'm going to say is they've got chemistry. They've got a past with each other. And this Sunday is that match, even though there's really nothing you can say special about it. There's no championships on the line. If they really wanted to make it interesting, they could put Willie Mack's House of Hardcore championship or even his NWA championship on the line. But, that's stretching it a little bit. So I don't see that happening as far as even a last minute thing. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be great just to, throw a little, last minute swerve in there and be like, oh, by the way, it's going to be for this title. And it's not even a title that's existing in the company. But I don't want to overbook this. I'm just happy that the match is happening. We'll do predictions in a bit. So yeah, hell of a match though. That was a very fun way to start the show. We get a little backstory on Moose and Edwards. No face-off tonight. Just a nice little reminder of, hey, this is where the feud's gone. This is where it's going. We're going to see it this Sunday. I don't think there's any stipulation in the match, though. I think they're just facing off against each other. But I got to think that there's going to be something going on. Unless I'm forgetting something. Wait, is it last man standing? I can't remember. I'm sure someone will remind me in the chat if I'm forgetting something. But nonetheless, I know they're facing off against each other. All right. What's next here? Eli Drake proving once again that he is one of the best on the mic in that company. Coming out with his paddle. Called it something. I don't remember what he called it. But it was just kind of funny. And I was like, oh, the paddle's got a name, just like Eddie Edwards. Kendo stick is named Kenny. So I thought that was funny. Swinging it around. Hell of a promo. Just incredible. Then Dreamer comes out to get a little revenge. Comes out swinging a chair. Probably steel chair. Aren't they all steel chair? And just as that starts, the lights go out. And I just assumed it was going to be Abyss showing up. No, it wasn't. Someone else broke out of the asylum over the weekend. Good old Raven going practically nose to nose with Dreamer. And, got a little nervous for Dreamer there. These two haven't faced off in quite a long time. They finished their feud back in the days of TNA, and Tommy swore they would never, ever face off again. And I believe him when he says that. He commits himself so he can come and go as he pleases. Haha. He's got that card, yeah. Good point, Blood Rain. Duke Togo. Quote the Raven, nevermore. Yes, classic. I don't know about you, but me being a classic Raven fan back from the old ECW, WCW days, it was great to see him again. Great to see him. And I don't think he's stepped in a ring in a long time. I'm guessing a few years. That's a guess, but I don't think he's active anymore. It'll be interesting to see if he shows up this Sunday. But nonetheless, he actually sides with Dreamer in this instance, and they both lay out Eli Drake. There. See, I did the pointing correctly that time. See, usually it's just whatever. Wink, wink. So yeah, that was great to see him. They attacked Drake, left him laying there. And yeah, no Abyss. So that makes me wonder how Sunday's going to go. And like I said, we'll get to that in a little bit. Then we get one of the funniest, most, oh man, I got goosebumps just thinking about it. Crazy tag team matches of the night. Funny yet titillating, if you know what I mean. Desi Hit Squad. Raj Singh and Rohit Raju versus KM and Fala Ba. Both trying like hell to impress one Scarlett Bordeaux, who shows up and plants herself on the stage, the entrance stage. Oh my goodness. They went to her, I don't know how many times during the match. I don't know how anybody was able to focus. I really don't. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I'd be able to, especially with what she was wearing. Oh, hell, this ain't cold enough. Hang on a second. There we go. That's better. That's much better. That's nice and cold. Uh-oh. Gotta censor the chat again. Jay with the mini fridge? Yes. Jay with the mini fridge. You could say interference from the mini fridge, if you will. So yeah, we're going to crack a cold one as we continue. I apologize. I know that's loud. Hope you're not wearing earbuds. All right. What's next here? Oh, we were talking about the tag team match. Look at that. Got all flustered. Completely lost my mind there for a second. You know, let's talk about KM and Falaba for a second. I got to say that over the course of 2018, I started out looking at these guys just shaking my head. You know, wasn't a complete downer for Impact Wrestling, in my opinion. Just took me a while to catch on. And, you know, you had to be patient with that one in 2018. You really did. Because you didn't know for a while if they were going to stay together or what. You just had to let it play itself out. And now, in my opinion, you've got one of the funnest tag teams to watch. You know, they They may not be an LAX, they may not be a Lucha Brothers or whatever. Fill in the blank of your favorite, most incredible tag team is currently. But man, they get a nice pop. They're fun to watch. They give you some laughs. And you've got to have that in professional wrestling. Like I said, you've got to break it up. You can't have, kendo sticks and blood flowing for the solid show. You got to break in with a little edginess, a little humor, a little sexiness here and there, We got some more people popping in the chat. Mr. Women's Wrestling Demon Rocks, what is up? That's a new title for you, I believe. I don't think you've called yourself Mr. Women's Wrestling before, but I recognize Demon Rocks. And It's Louisa's back. What's up? Welcome. Come on in. Someone in the chat here said something about... Oh, Duke Togo up here in the chat. I just happened to glance and see this. ECW guys are making a comeback. Sandman returned at Final Battle. Raven returning tonight. Yeah, you know what? I realized after I reviewed Final Battle that I completely left Sandman out. Completely. Did not mention him. And I after the fact, I was like, felt kind of bad, but, because that was a very fun part of... Oh, shoot, what match was that? I don't remember. He jumped in some match. I forget. But anyways, back to Impact. Yeah, it's nice to see the ECW guys once in a while. I don't mind a little appearance here and there. Not a bad thing. Brian Firth is in the chat. Hello, first-time watcher. Really enjoying so far. Well, welcome. Crack a cold with me. Sit down, watch Uncle J-Bone and smash this podcast. And if you're digging the content by the end of the show, if you stick around that long, hit that like button, hit that sub button. We just hit... Oh, man. What did we hit today? 591? We're in the 590s, folks. Creeping up on 600. That's incredible. That's incredible. Hope to keep that number going up. All right. So, yeah, Desi Hit Squad versus KM and Falaba. KM and Falaba coming out with a win. And Scarlett Bordeaux seemed to be impressed by the win, but she left right away afterwards. Very interesting numbers that they mentioned during the match as far as just reading that last comment from Blood Rain. Falaba and KM don't need no stinking pancakes, but they probably eat a lot of them. That's funny. Demon Rock says, that's what I'm drinking. Nope, not a Monster. Milwaukee's Best Ice. It's a monster of a beer. I'm kidding. It's cheap. That's all. All right. So, yeah, I really don't know where this Scarlett Bordeaux thing is going. I'm thinking she's got to pick someone soon. I know for a fact that she is all over Killer Cross and AAA. And seeing those two... Seeing those two together is not something I expected. They actually look pretty good together. And it looks authentic. I mean, it looks legit. Their mannerisms that they do together in the ring, I mean, one look and you're like, oh, they're together. I have no clue if they are or not. And I certainly wouldn't want to be the one to ask. Try to stay on the good side of Killer Cross. Do wonder if they're dating. Yes, Blood Rain, yes. I think several people are wondering. And by the way, speaking of Killer Cross, I want to talk about him for a second. When I went over my favorite parts of 2018, I did not mention the 2 interviews I had on here. First one was Dustin Cameron, and that's the first interview I had in a few years on here. And that was a great interview, you know, young up and comer from a Canadian wrestler. And if you don't remember, that's the one that challenged Austin Aries a few months ago. The one who appeared with Santino Marella. Or is that what they called him? I forget. Anyways, it was his student. But he's been wrestling for a few years up in Border City Wrestling, amongst a handful of other places in the Northeast U.S. and Canada. And just reading the chat. You guys crack me up. And oh, man. You guys are always entertaining. I got to say that. Love you guys. We also interviewed Killer Cross here on Smash This Podcast. It is one of my proudest moments on here in my 5-year shtick of being on here on YouTube. And that man is, you know, he won the award of the one to watch in 2019. And tonight's performance in the ring and what he did after the match, which we're going to talk about coming up here. Perfect example of why. Absolutely terrifying. And I'm not going to lie, I was I went through a realm of emotions during that that interview, from being terrified to excited to happy to, oh my God, we need to let him go. It's like and if you remember, the sun was slowly going down in his house while we were talking to him. So by the end of the interview, which was about 20 minutes to a half an hour long, wasn't too long, it was getting pretty dark behind him, which I was like, okay, it's time to get him go, because if he's going to talk to me from the dark, I'm just going to sit here and piss myself. I'm not going to lie. It's just, oh man, that was definitely a highlight though. Tremendous. So, and if you didn't see it, you can go in the videos later on. If you have time, you can go check it out. Me and Chris Phoenix interviewed him. I believe it was soon after his debut in Impact Wrestling, which was a perfect timing. Couldn't have planned it any better. Oh, man. What's next here? Allie with Sue Young versus Kiera Hogan. I'm not going to lie. I honestly thought this one was going to end up on Homecoming. I did not see this match coming. I mean, I saw, you know, when they give you the card of who's going to be wrestling before the show starts on social media. That I saw. But before that appeared, I assumed that they were going to end this at Homecoming. So when they had the match tonight, I was like, huh. Okay. Where are they going to go with this? Great match between Allie and Kiera Hogan. I got to say, I mean, Allie's always been good. I haven't always been a supporter of her, but I saw that she had talent. Kiera Hogan, on the other hand, I feel like she's improved a lot over the course of this last year. I wouldn't say she's had 5-star matches, but I'd say she has certainly gotten better. Okay. They did have a good match tonight, though. Allie won with a code breaker. And just as both Su Yung and Allie were about to attack Kiera Hogan, of all the people to show up, surprised me. Jordan Grace showed up. I'm like, oh, this will be the return of Rosemary. But I think that would have been spread all over the place. I know a lot of fans are waiting for that return. I'm hoping she returns at Homecoming, but I'm not. You know, I never want to assume anything, because we assumed a lot of stuff for Bound for Glory, and it didn't happen, you know, especially thinking about like Chris Jericho and stuff like that. But Jordan Grace came to the rescue of Kiera Hogan and took out both of them, Su Yung and Allie, which then turned later into Jordan Grace and Kiera Hogan are going to face off against Su Yung and Allie at Homecoming. That is going to be awesome. I can't wait for that. Going over to the chat here just for a second. Rosemary has to come into play. Yeah, I think she will. You know, and they just announced her. If you haven't heard this, they just announced her for the NWA show that's happening a day before. I don't know who she's facing. I have not heard that. All I've heard is that Rosemary is going to be in a match. Now, I'm almost wishing that the NWA didn't announce that. But I understand they're trying to sell tickets. But seeing as the NWA pop-up event is, well, I don't know if it's right next door, but it's not too far away from where Homecoming is. I think they're both in, are they both in Tennessee? They're not both in Tennessee. They're not that far away from each other. It makes me think that if she's ready to perform in NWA, that she's going to return to Impact Wrestling. And like I said, it's not a given, and I don't know exactly what part she's going to play. That one's kind of hard to figure out. But we'll see. Let's go back to the chat for a second. I smell Impact, AEW, ROH, New Japan, and NWA partnership down the line. Well, it was just reported right before I went live earlier tonight that AEW and Ring of Honor and New Japan are going to formally have a meeting after Wrestle Kingdom. And I'm not going to assume anything out of that. The fact that they're getting together, you can't assume that they're all going to start a relationship together. Is there certainly a possibility? Absolutely. At this point, I got to think that Ring of Honor might be a little more accepting of it as far as a talent swap than New Japan. Because New Japan didn't even want to do a talent swap or have talks with Impact Wrestling or WWE, from what I've heard. So I don't know. Like I said, never assume anything in the world of wrestling. You never know. But the more companies work together, I think it's a good thing. You don't want the same, and I've heard this opinion over the course of the last few days, especially from people like from Sean Ross Sapp. You don't want too many of the same people showing up on a bunch of different shows, because then that gets a little overplayed. Kind of like Pentagon and Lucha, or the Lucha Brothers, Phoenix and Pentagon, showing up all over the place. They're in CMLL, they're in AAA, they're in Impact, they're in MLW, they're all over the indies. I got a feeling within the next couple of years they're going to find a home. They can't legally do anything specifically anywhere right now because of Lucha Underground, from what I've heard. Not positive, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going on with that. So we'll see. All right. Back to the show. But yeah, great to see Jordan Grace come out and take out Su Yung and Allie. Like I said, did not see that one coming. I popped for that one quietly. My wife was sleeping on the couch. I was like, love me some thick mama pump. Smash that like button if you're digging some thick mama. Thick mama. See, wow, easy to say that, hey? Thick mama pump. We then get a segment of Trevor Lee in the office with Scott D'Amore and Don Callis, not on camera, but they're off camera, talking to them how he just wants a match and that he's worth something on the show and he doesn't feel like he's getting treated properly, to paraphrase it. And it was also interesting that they had that segment because I think that is the first time they've actually used Don Callis and Scott D'Amore together as authority figures on camera / off camera, which has actually been refreshing because every show has some kind of like GM or authority figure or whatever. Well, almost every show. But whenever they do talk about an authority type GM figure on Impact Wrestling, it's strictly stated as, oh, well, management wants this or management wants that. So it'll be interesting to see if, they go forward with this, if they're going to use Don Callis and Scott D'Amore together more visually on TV, or are they going to just keep it as the quiet, okay, who's the boss, and just not use them? I thought that was interesting. Let me know your opinions on that in the comments. I'm indifferent about it because I'm so used to a GM figure, and I feel like Don Callis, they could be on-air figures, and they are the executive VPs in real life of the company, in charge of stuff. So, kind of like how Eric Bischoff was. Wasn't he like the president of WCW, and then he became an authority figure or whatever, or the leader of the NWO, whatever, the same but different. We then get a promo from LAX. And it took me a second to realize it. Easy E, right, AP? Totally. Loved Easy E back in the day. It took me about halfway through this promo of LAX to realize something. I had mentioned something on and off over the course of the last year plus reviewing this I call it this chapter of Impact Wrestling, because they are in another chapter now. I feel like they've been very consistent. They've been on an upswing. It may be slow, but it's still an upswing. Number one, they got a TV deal. Number two, they're touring all over the flipping place. Right there is a positive. You can't deny that. But specifically about LAX, I said when they were featured a lot with Conan did all the talking, especially in the club room atmosphere where they'd be sitting around playing, what do they call that? Bones, dominoes, whatever. Sipping some Modelo's. Oh no, that's on that other show. Lucha Underground. Wrong beer. My bad. Sipping whatever. Tequila of the day. See, they're not the only ones that have the fridge off to the side, off camera, right? They got that from me. Right. I said a few times that I hope in the future, as good as LAX are, that they're given the chance to cut some promos. And it took me a while to figure out this isn't the first promos they've cut. They've cut some before, and it just, I don't know how I breezed over it before, but it just hit me in tonight's episode. But this promo that they cut, talking about their relationship with Conan and how they've got to prove it to themselves that they can do it without Conan this Sunday and whatnot, their past history, they also touched on their odds of winning without Conan. Very interesting there. But that promo, man, I want to go back and listen to that again. That was like the promo of the night. Minus, Killer Cross always being terrifyingly awesome on the mic. LAX has really stepped up over the course of this last year and become a complete, and I want to emphasize complete, tag team. You've got tag teams out there that are just incredible in the ring. They always get a pop. They always satisfy the crowd. They win a lot. They're a lot of people's favorites. But you give them a mic and the crowd goes, bathroom break. They just can't do it. It's trust me, I get it. It's a learning thing. Not everybody can just get handed a mic after you've had a phenomenal in-ring performance and then floor the crowd again. Doesn't always happen. These guys are really becoming, like I said, a complete tag team. Top to bottom. Promos, in-ring. Presence, confidence. You can see it. LAX is really doing it. We then get the match with Trevor Lee and Killer Cross. Whew. Good match. But you kind of knew right off the bat how it was going to end. And I'm glad it wasn't a complete squash match. Trevor Lee got some licks in. Trevor Lee's good. Excuse me. Trevor Lee's damn good. And he reminded you how good he is. 3-time X Division champ. Former tag champ. He is the Carolina, what do they call him? The Carolina Caveman. He can get it done in the ring. Not tonight, though. Facing off against Killer Cross. Oh. And I already knew how this was going to end because over the course of the last week, I was just catching up on Killer Cross's social media, just going through pics on his Facebook page. I was trying to find a picture of him in the new Ring Warriors Championship because I'm going to go back to talking about that soon. So I wanted a picture of him in the championship. And I found some pictures that he had been tagged in on Facebook with him holding the cinder block up against Trevor Lee and just destroying it. So I was like, oh, so that's how they're writing out Trevor Lee out of Impact Wrestling. And I'm not going to sit here and assume anything. I know there's rumors about him leaving. Trevor Lee has denied those rumors simply by saying, don't believe everything you hear and or read. But, so, hey, maybe he's not done. You got to think real life for a second. His family's gone through a lot lately. He lost, was it his dad? I believe it was his dad. So maybe he's just taking time off for himself once the year of 2018 was done. Maybe he's lined up to go someplace else. Some people are saying NXT. If he is a free agent, which I haven't heard yet. I heard about DJ Z as a free agent. And he's DJing at a Bullet Club rally sometime soon. That's interesting. Might go to New Japan. There's a number of places Trevor Lee could go to. Who knows? I don't want to assume anything. But yeah. And all that means is, hey, there's a spot open on the Impact Wrestling roster. You know, they just brought in the Rascals. That's 3 slots right there. So, not a bad trade. You know, you lose a few people, you gain a few people. That's how Impact Wrestling is. People make such a big deal. Oh, they lost it. I don't know why people do that. It's just stupid. Why focus on that? Sure, it's news, but they treat it like, oh, the company's done because somebody left. Shut up. Got to work on your troll game. Most people's troll game sucks. Anyways, enough about that. But yes, Killer Cross absolutely destroys Trevor Lee in this match. And then grabs the ring bell guy at ringside. And he practically pisses himself. He's just like shaking uncontrollably while being, walked around to the other end. Cross grabs a cinder block from underneath the ring. Cinder block. And for the people listening on audio, I'm using quotes, cinder block. Hey, it looks awesome. We know what it is. Let's not overthink this. It's Killer Cross. He's an incredible worker. It just looks badass, period. End of subject. Let's not overthink this. It was cool. I enjoyed it. And this is not the first time we've seen this either. Cross has done promos for his YouTube channel that he uses in other places. You can go to his YouTube channel and find this. One promo of his is he shows up in a car to a group of people standing around behind like a warehouse area. Someone is holding a cinder block. He walks up to it, puts his fist through it, gets paid, walks back to his car, and leaves while everybody's just standing around like, oh my God. Like they put money on him that he couldn't do it, and they all just lost. So yeah, I've seen it before. This was certainly in a different atmosphere. It had I'd say it had a scarier feel to it just because of the live crowd feel around him, you know. And certainly it was someone in the ring who just, you know, looked like he just, you know, felt like the cinder block after it was done. Trevor Lee, can we say he's a broken man? I think so. So, yeah, you know, just seeing something like this just puts an exclamation point again on how scary he is and how seriously he should be taken in Impact Wrestling. And it even makes me wonder even more what he's going to do on Sunday. I don't think anybody can assume anything at this point. Sure, you can guess. He may help John. He may not help John. He may hurt John. You could put Brian Cage in the same blank. I don't think I really don't know. I certainly think he's going to be there in some way, shape, or form. Just reading the chat. Some dude on Twitter basically called Cross a chump. Well, that person is obviously not very intelligent. That's all I'm going to say about that. We then go to the announcements of 2 more matches at Homecoming this Sunday. Willie Mack versus Callahan. And Jordan Grace and Kiera Hogan versus Su Yung and Alley. Or Dark Alley. Are they going to make that a thing? Dark Alley? Like as in don't walk through a dark alley at night or something? I don't know. But both of those matches are added to Homecoming. Very cool. Nice to add some more people in there. Especially significant up-and-comers in the company like Jordan Grace and Willie Mack. We then have the main event. Lucha Brothers, Phoenix and Pentagon versus Johnny Impact and Brian Cage. This did not end how I expected it. I was very surprised at how this match ended. I wasn't surprised by the fight afterwards. You kind of expect that, or at least a nose-to-nose confrontation. They had a good fight. They brought out the locker room. They brought out security. They all got landed on their ass. The match was tremendous. And as far as the psychology of it, you watched it, you kind of expected how it went out. Lucha Brothers, you know they're going to work together just fine. There's no competition there. They're brothers. They can read each other's minds. And it was just a nice little preview as to how good they're going to work on Sunday. But Johnny Impact and Brian Cage, they're facing off on Sunday, but they got to tag together. So there's obviously that little rift there, or a very big rift, and they got to, bury it down for this match. They got to work together, but they don't want to work together. So you saw a lot of blind tags, which, it didn't surprise me at all. The question is, how long are the blind, bleh, say that 10 times real fast. How long are the blind tags going to go on until someone, loses their temper, if you will. Blood Rain in the chat says, man, I feel bad for LAX. Lucha Brothers are going to kill him. I don't know. Demon Rock says, are you staying up to watch Wrestle Kingdom? Oh, God. I want to watch it live, but it also means I'm going to be up almost all night, and I got to pick up my kids tomorrow afternoon. Maybe I'll take a nap and try to watch it. I don't know. I got to double check and see when it's on here as far as time-wise. We'll see. But yeah, this tag match, Johnny Impact and Cage versus the Lucha Brothers, did not see it ending this way. I mean, all four guys really needed a win here in some way, shape, or form. Blood Rain says 1 a.m. our time. Oh, you're also in the central. Okay. Central time zone. Okay. Is that, you know what? I'm guessing that's the pre-show. I don't know if that's the start of the actual show. I know they've got like an hour-long pre-show. I'll double check it. We'll see. Yeah, I'm certainly not watching the pre-show. I don't have to watch all that. But yeah, Lucha Brothers coming out with a win here. Did not see that coming. And they pinned the champ. Crazy. If anything, I would have thought that, if I assumed how this was going to get booked, I would have assumed that this match would have ended in a no contest. How I would have booked it is have either Cage or Johnny Impact beat the Lucha Brothers, but only because LAX comes down to the ring and distracts them, which then, if they distracted them and then a brawl ensues and then all six guys are fighting and then security comes down, the locker room comes pouring out. What did Callis say at the end that just sounded weird? He said the dressing room. I'm like, when you're talking about guys in the back, I think of a locker room. I don't think of a dressing room. I think of a dressing room for girls are getting ready for the party. Where are they? Oh, they're in the dressing room. I was like, what? Dressing room? Yes, I get it. They get dressed in the dressing room for their match, but whatever. Anyways. It just hit me funny. It just was like, what? Anyways. Not a biggie. And there's my cat crying outside the door. Yes, we hear you. Demon Rocks. Go Saints. Yeah, it must be from New Orleans. Or no. Saints are... Is that New Orleans? I haven't watched the NFL in a long time. Anyways. Oh, he's from Shreveport. Okay. I'm horrible at geometry. I don't remember where Shreveport is. Oh, excuse me, geography. I always cut that joke. It gets old after a while. Yeah, I get it. So yeah, that's how I would have booked it, but that's not how the show ended. The fight ensues between Johnny Impact, Brian Cage, because there was a few, you know, so we say lack of communication during the match. Somebody ducked and someone else got the kick that was aimed for someone else, or the punch or the clothesline, if you will. But Lucha Brothers came out on top of this one. So they're going into Homecoming feeling pretty good. Like, hey, we just beat the champ. And who got the pin? Was it Phoenix? I think it was Phoenix. I think it was Phoenix. And the fact that he pinned the champ, I felt was very interesting. I don't want to assume anything, but usually when something off happens like that, usually you see, oh, so and so is going to then face the champ because he pinned the champ. You see stuff like that happen all the time, like something out of nowhere that you didn't expect to happen, and oh, well, now they're going to have a match somewhere down the road. Phoenix and Johnny already had a match, though. That was the first night after Bound for Glory, I think, or the first Impact Wrestling show after Bound for Glory, and that was crazy. So I don't know. I'm not going to overthink it because, this is stuff right before a pay-per-view. I'm also very curious to see if Brian Cage's injury is going to affect him this Sunday. They did a little mini documentary. It's up on Impact Wrestling's YouTube. They put it out a day or two ago, and they made mention of it. And you saw it tonight in the tape on his elbow. And it made me wonder, like, wow, a few weeks ago he was limping around. He's had that leg taped up. It's like, man, does Cage need to take some time off? Is he really going to be ready to perform what he considers close to 100% as possible for Homecoming? I don't know. I hope he can. I hope they don't have to pull something last minute like, no, he's really not ready. We're going to pull the match and throw something else in there. I can't imagine what they would. I don't even want to think about that. But usually in a pinch, if Impact Wrestling, honestly, some of the best stuff you've ever seen happens in Impact Wrestling when they got to work on the fly and quick change things up. Look at what happened over half a year ago. Alberto El Patron didn't show up. What did you get in the main event? You got a classic main event. Aries versus Phoenix versus Pentagon. That was amazing. I still think that's what was one of the best matches of the year. No matter what your opinion of Aries was, for the company to, pull that off last minute and be like, hey, this is how we're changing it up. It was incredible. So let's talk about this card. And I didn't write down anything ahead of time. Not going to be any particular order. And I'm going to try to remember them all because I tried looking up the card right before I went live and I could not find it. Sometimes their website is unfortunately not always quite up to date. Or you can't find always find stuff that you want to last second. But that's okay. We'll get her done. We'll start out with the two that were made tonight. That's easy. Or I should say easy to remember. So here we go. Homecoming. Predictions. Homecoming 2019. And let me know in the chat or hit me up on social media if you're watching this after effect and let me know who you think is going to win these. Would love to know what you think. Let's start out with the tag match. We got Jordynne Grace and Kiera Hogan. Versus Su Yung and Allie. Wonder if Allie's going to change up her makeup for Sunday. I'm digging the new dark Allie makeup. I am. When she first came out with it, I was like, I don't know. But it's growing on me. I think she's really pulling off the heel thing good. I don't know about you, but I'm digging it. It's just so funny because, you know, when I really started consistently watching Impact again over the course of the last year to year and a half ago and reviewing it, I was like, oh, Allie's just another Bailey, you know, not necessarily a Bailey wannabe, but something similar to that. Very bubbly. I was like, ugh. But she's really turned into quite the badass. Digging the heel. Grace and Hogan versus Su Yung and Allie. You know what? I gotta think Grace and Hogan are going to get the win here. I don't want to overthink a prediction of Rosemary popping up. I have no doubt that she's going to. And if she doesn't, and she's still healthy enough, I'm sure she'll pop up on the first set of tapings. So sometime within the next few days, either at Homecoming or that first taping the next night in the asylum, I'm sure she's going to pop up. But I'm not going to make any prediction as in, oh, we're going to get interference in this match from Rosemary. I'm not going to predict that. I'm going to do my best to not overthink these predictions because I've done that in the past and I've shot myself in the foot. So, there we go. Kiera Hogan and Jordynne Grace take the win here. And anything after that will just be the cherry on top, right? All right. Mac versus Callahan. Yeah, I think this one's got to go to Callahan. I think Callahan, I mean, trust me, I love Willie Mack. I love both these guys. I want to see them both have a tremendous 2019. Hell, I wouldn't mind seeing Willie Mack as champ. But I feel like Callahan needs this more. He's had a little bit more. I mean, he's had an incredible 2018. Don't get me wrong. But his 2018 was a little more back and forth. I don't want to say 50-50, but I don't, for lack of better words, I'll say 50-50, you know? Blood Rain in the chat says, Cross for champ first. Okay. We'll make Cross champ first. I'm sure he wouldn't... I'm sure he wouldn't be sour on that thought. Um, but yeah, I think we're going to go into 2019. We're going to give Callahan a win here. And I have absolutely no doubt it would continue the feud between OVE and Mac and Swan. Or maybe it'll be a one-off. But I feel like some of these go on for a while. This is one I wouldn't mind seeing go on for a while. Can work. We'll see. What is next? Let's do Moose versus Eddie Edwards. Oh man, this one has gone back and forth for a bit. Excuse me. Trying to think who won the last one. Cannot remember. Some of these feuds kind of blur together and you forget who won what, when, how, why. This one's going on for a bit, though. I think Moose got the first up-and-comings. He got the first win. Eddie, I think, got the second win. Is this the third time they're facing off? I think so. Man, Eddie and Moose have had some long-ass feuds this year. Especially Eddie. Not necessarily Moose, but Eddie has. Wow. His feud with Callahan lasted what felt like forever, but that was the thing that really tipped off the spark of interest, what I think got people's heads turning in 2018 towards Impact Wrestling. Certainly one of the things. Man. I feel like Edwards is going to come out here with a win to end the whole thing, but I don't think he's going to get it. I think Moose is going to get a win here. Might even walk away with Mrs. Edwards. We'll see. As Blood Rain says in the chat, Sammy got himself and Impact over with that baseball shot. Yeah. And it was an accident, you know? It was a shot heard around the internet. Complete accident. Crazy. All right. So Moose is going to come out on top here. And I can't remember if there's a stipulation or not. But nonetheless, I don't think it matters in this case. I'll look it up later. Nonetheless, let's keep going. We've got LAX versus the Lucha Brothers for the Impact Wrestling Tag Team Championships. I think it's time for the Lucha Brothers to get some championships under their belt. We saw a taste of that earlier this year with Pentagon winning the championship. But I think the brothers need some gold. You know what I mean. They're not gold, but you know what I mean. Excuse me. This is certainly one of the ones on the card that could steal the show. Start out 2019 with Tag Team Match of the Year. This one's going to be nuts. I think Lucha Brothers are going to come out with a win here. And I don't want to assume anything about Conan. I'm sure he's going to come out at some point, but I don't assume what he's going to do. I don't know if he's going to turn on LAX. I don't know. Maybe he'll sit up on the stage next to Scarlett Bordeaux. I cracked myself up. Try the pork. I'll be here all week. Lucha Brothers for the win. Oh, jeez. Who else? Oh, the women's championship match. I know I'm forgetting like a lot of matches here. I feel like I know there's a championship match, obviously. Nonetheless, let's talk about the knockouts match next. We got Taya versus Tessa Blanchard. Oh, these two are going to be another one that's going to absolutely tear the house down. I think Taya is going to come out on top here. I think a lot of people are assuming. Oh, pardon me. I think a lot of people are assuming that Tessa's going to keep her streak going as she's going to go through a majority of 2019 as women's champ, but I don't think that's healthy. I think it's good, especially with the introduction of a few new knockouts over the course of the last month or so, especially going into 2019. We may see some more new faces and or the return of some. I think it's healthy to put a new face on the championship. Just trying to think of like the bigger picture, not just the feud. It's, sometimes hard to just think about the feud itself. You try to think of the future of the championship and who else could go after it. But we don't want to focus on that too much. But I'm going to go with Taya. I've wanted her as champ since day one she stepped in the company as Lucha royalty. Now she's going back to one of her more authentic Real Loca gimmicks. And it's not really a gimmick. It's just her in reality turned up a notch or a few notches. It's one of the most authentic ones on the card, I feel. Nothing fake behind it. It's just her being all attitude, almost heelish, but not really, just a lot of sass behind the attitude, and that's all right. You can do that and still be a babyface or whatever. So, I'm just reading the chat for a second. It's an interesting opinion. All right. But yeah, this is certainly one of the better feuds that's happened lately. I love Tessa as champ. Taya has gone through a lot of changes in her life and has come back stronger than ever. And I think it's time for people to see Taya as champ and see what she can do. I'm dying to see that. I've been a fan of hers for years, coming from Lucha Underground, and now on this level, I've seen a few things that she's done in AAA too, and they're just tremendous. And yeah, I really can't wait to see Ty as champ. That's my prediction. Um, oh, I almost forgot the Ultimate X match. My goodness. We got Paige versus Swan versus, is it Jake Christ? It's Jake, not David, right? I think it's Jake. Excuse me. And Trey Miguel. Oh man, this is probably the hardest one to predict on the entire card. And it's not just the odds factor of it, it's just looking at everyone, and you could, in any realm of reality, you can pick any four of these guys. Seriously. I would love to see Paige as X Division champ. I would love to see Swan as X Division champ. I think Swan's is a long time coming, but I feel like he's going to be involved in other stuff going on. So I don't know if they're going to put the championship on him. Jay Christ is so underrated. So underrated. We saw that tonight. That top rope cutter he does to whoever. Well, tonight it was to Willie Mack, but we've seen him do that for a while now to this person, that person, through a table, onto the floor, whatever. That's just amazing. The guy's so good. And then there's Trey Miguel. Very young, high flyer, up and comer, brand new. Oh, man. God, that's tough. Going into this, I was thinking Trey. But and now the more I'm thinking about it, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to go with Swan. I'm going to go with Swan. I almost said Jake Chris, but I'm going to go with Swan. I feel like it would put the exclamation point on a very successful run / comeback to wrestling in 2018. Because he left for a while. It was brief, but he left. And, he had a little controversy swirling around his head. And came back strong. Came back super strong. Blood Rain says, excellent choice, J-Bone. Well, thank you. It's not an easy pick, though. You got to admit, it's not an easy pick. I mean, everybody's got their favorites, but if you really break it down, that one's a tough one. That one's a tough one. Guys, what am I missing besides the championship match? I thought we had 8 matches here. What am I missing? We did the X division. That's the Ultimate X. By the way, that Ultimate X is going to bring the house down. We did LAX and Lucha Brothers, Sammy and Mac, Tessa and Taya. We got the championship match. We'll talk about that last. But I thought there was another one in there. Wasn't there? You know what? Let's jump on Twitter for a second. You'll have to excuse my senility. Because, well, you know. J-Bone's not the smartest guy in the block. Well loved and respected, but not always the smartest guy. Here we go. All right. We got the pictures right here. Let's look at them. We got that. We got that. That's all pictures from tonight. Wow, there's some great pictures on the Twitter box of tonight. Wow. Oh, that's the one. Oh, my God. I am a moron. Eli Drake versus Abyss. Wow, I am losing it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8. And there was 8 matches, I believe. Wow, I'm an idiot. Okay, so Monsters Ball. Abyss versus Drake. You know, and this one with all the ECW guys showing up lately, it's like, God, you got a feeling they're going to be in the asylum. Excuse me. Wow. Losing my voice. Time to go soon. They're going to be in the asylum. You got to think that they're going to have a little nostalgia maybe mixed in with this. Maybe not bring back a crap ton of ECW guys, maybe a few. Or maybe someone new will show up and help Eli Drake. I don't want to focus on that too much, though. I don't want, like I said, you can't assume anything, but I'm sure they'll have a little fun with it. Maybe bring back a little nostalgia. And I'm okay with that. It's a night about looking back at the positive things that they've done in TNA when they started in the asylum. And like they said, it's a homecoming and they're making new memories. So there's nothing wrong with a little nostalgia. Not too much, but a little. We'll see what they do. But who wins this Monsters Ball between Eli Drake and Abyss? I think you got to give it to Abyss. Blood Rain says, won't be Shane Douglas. Or could it? Yeah, I don't remember Shane Douglas. Okay. I know he was around back then, but I don't know if he wrestled. I thought he was too like banged up and he did more of a backstage segment. Well, I know he did. Maybe that, you know what? Maybe that wasn't the asylum days. Maybe that was the Florida days. Because I know they were on like Fox. They had that deal with Fox Sports or something. And they were on earlier in the afternoon. And that was when I really started watching. Taking off to watch some Wrestle Kingdom. All right, thanks for stopping in. Maybe we will stay up and watch that. I don't know. I got a lot to do tomorrow. I gotta be the responsible adult here. Wink, wink. But yeah, I think we're gonna give this one to Abyss. I don't want to overthink this one too much. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it was funny though. I think it was funny though how Eli Drake tonight did say he ended it with saying that he's hardcore. which then, shall we say, triggered Tommy Dreamer and Raven for that matter. But yeah, I think we're going to go with Abyss on this one. And last but certainly not least, for the whole guacamole, the Impact Wrestling Championship. Johnny Impact defending against Brian Cage. Man, you could overthink this one to death. I really don't want to. So I'm just going to say off the top of my head, Johnny Impact retains. And it's the only one I'm going to say out of this whole card where I'm going to assume, never should assume, but I think Killer Cross is going to get involved somehow. He has been involved kind of in the background, in a sense, in this whole feud. But I really feel he is going to make a difference one way or another in this match. He could help Johnny. He could try to help Brian and try to screw Johnny, and then Johnny ends up getting the win anyways. This could go so many different directions. But off the top, I'm going to say Johnny Impact wins. He does retain maybe a heel turn. He pulled it off in AAA. Had a great alliance with Killer Cross. And to be honest, I've wanted that for a long time. And if they finally pull it off in Impact Wrestling, you will see one happy Impact Wrestling fan going into 2019. That's all I'm going to say about that. So yeah, we're going to say Johnny Impact retains. I got to say, though, I do love the fact that they used option C in here. That I felt like, because they've used it in a few years, within the last few years here and there, but I felt it was really refreshing to use it now as opposed to when they've always used it before, going into, what was it, Bound for Glory in years past. They're kicking off the year with that. So, yeah. That's my predictions. That's what I'm sticking to. We will see this Sunday. But no matter what happens, I have absolutely no doubt that this show will be one of the best shows of the year. And really looking forward to it. I feel like it's going to really propel Impact Wrestling into this new year properly. Give it a big kick forward. And I don't have Pursuit, but that's not going to stop me from finding Impact Wrestling and reviewing it on here. I will find it. I will keep on reviewing it. That's all I can say on that. So yeah. And if you're watching this after the fact, leave your thoughts in the comments below. What's your card look like? Who do you think is going to come out on top? And if you're listening to this on Sunday, welcome to the show on iTunes. Glad you tuned in. Got to include those people too, because I'm very excited about that. So, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. If you're digging the product and you're new here, don't forget to smash that like button, smash that sub button, and ring that bell for notifications so that you know when more of my content hits your screen. Don't forget, in 2019, I will be doing reviews coming up very soon around the corner of stuff off of powerslam.tv. If you are so inclined to go check that out and you want something free to kick off the new year, everybody loves free stuff. I know I do. There is a code in the description down below. You can go check that out. Type in "Smash This Free" for a free month to check out all the goodies on powerslam.tv. And if you're also watching this after the fact and didn't catch all of it, you can also catch the replay of this over on rantwithant.com. And by all means, go check out all the other cool new stuff over there. Lots of guys joining the family in 2019. Very excited about that. The Rant With Ant family, the Wrestle Addict Radio family growing in 2019. Not a bad thing. A lot of great podcasts covering all sorts of stuff in the realm of wrestling. Go check it out. So, that's it for this. I don't know what I'm doing the rest of the weekend, but we are certainly, without a doubt, watching Homecoming this Sunday, and we'll probably review it right afterwards. So watch out for that if you are so inclined to do so. Have a great weekend, folks. Enjoy Wrestle Kingdom. I'm going to watch it at some point. I just don't know when. Take care. Much love. Good night.